starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome to the home of the blue and black attack. Blue and black attack.
All right, I'm Panther Pickle. There's Deeze Skills. Cole's in the building.
Yes,
We're
sir.
here, and Panther football ain't going nowhere.
No, sir. No, it is absolutely not going anywhere. We are finally in a chance, once again, to win this division, Panther Pickle. It's been since 2022 that we had the opportunity to win the NFC South. And for years, we've waited as Panthers fans and prayed for this day. And it's back here with us on Sunday. We had the chance to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and stop their reign over the NFC South. 4 times in a row, they've won it. And now it's time the Panthers do what they got to do to put a stop to this reign of terror from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We want to see the blue and black on top of this division. Let's go, Pickle.
Keep pounding and pound them harder. Cole, tell me what you think, brother.
Yes, sir. Just to be this late in the year, Pickle, and still have a lot to play for, we need to be excited. I held on to what happened last Sunday a little too long. Like most fans, you need to put that shit to bed. We still have a lot to play for. The season is alive. We're going to keep pounding, and somehow or another, we're going to make it to the damn playoffs and do something, my friend.
That's a fact. That's a fact. You know, a lot of people,
Yes,
a lot
yes.
of people, myself included, sometimes we get a little bit antsy. We're still going through a rebuild.
Mm-hmm.
We're technically a little bit ahead of our rebuild with this playoff run we're on, and you know, this only adds to the brightness of the future and the correct knowledge that we're moving in the correct direction. You know, some players may leave or change this coming off season, but that's part of a normal NFL cycle. So, you know, I'm encouraged about some of the glimpses we've seen from the defense. I'm encouraged about the offense. Um, Still being able to put up a pretty decent offensive line despite all the injuries. That's a massive plus in itself. Um, you know, Tampa Bay struggling a little bit here and there. There's some turmoil going on the inside of them, and I'm all for it. Let it burn. Let it burn. Let Tampa Bay burn.
Well,
We got
that's
a whole lot of quarterbacks coming up that owe an ass whipping from us, Pickle. That's all I got to tell you, my friend. I need Darnold and Baker to go ahead and get them some ass whipping these 3 games that we're about to see them.
That's it.
Well, they started out 6-2. The Buccaneers did,
They were
and
hot.
in those early games, Baker Mayfield looked like an early runner for the MVP, but that's not the case now. His accuracy is one of the worst in the league. He's throwing balls that are uncatchable at a rate
Right.
that other quarterbacks aren't. He's bottom of the barrel almost. I
That's
mean,
a fact.
bottom like 25 or below. So this is very promising for the Panthers. I know they're getting healthy at wide receiver, but that doesn't scare me the way that Baker's been playing. You got to remember, in the last 6 games, Pickle, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 1-5.
Right.
1-5.
Exactly.
And they got beat by the Falcons. What are we scared of?
Right.
We shut the Falcons out 30 to
Yes.
nothing. And we went
Yes.
into their house and we beat them again. We're not
Right.
scared of them.
Right.
We got the ability to
Right.
stomp the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Absolutely. You know, a few things to take note of. They lost to the Rams 34-7.
Yes, they
We
did.
beat the Rams. Now, they did beat the Cardinals 20-17, but it was only by 3 points. And this was the Cardinals. This was a few weeks ago. The Cardinals are a pretty bad football team. So, you know, it didn't take a lot to beat them. So, you know, Tampa Bay's not setting up here on this throne of, wow, look at me, I'm so great. They're not. They're just slightly, barely, you know, truthfully speaking, I think their offense is just a smidgen better than ours, probably more consistent than good. And I think our defense is better than theirs. Um, They've got a few. They've got a veteran coaching staff, and they've got a veteran quarterback, and that's about it. I really think that we can come out on top of them if we come out ready to play with um all our all our heads attached, as the players would say, focused into the game. Sometimes things happen in the middle of the games and it throws them off focus. Uh, that's just a little bit of lack of experience. They'll get over that. I did watch Desmond Johnson with Stu and uh,
Steve Smith.
Steve Smith today. Um, I was really encouraged watching that video. I really took a deep breath, and sometimes guys like that, they just add just a little bit of sense of relief if you hear them talk, because they've been there. You may not, yeah, some people may not like they scout different or something, but either way, I still like to hear them, and they relax me sometimes.
For me, it was the Trey Boston. I watched Trey
Yeah,
Boston with Christian Balboni last
yeah,
night. I also watched the one you talked about as well, and I enjoyed it
right,
also. Jay Stu's been killing it, man. To be a
right.
former player and to care as much as he does about the fans, and that's the same
Hmm.
way I feel about Trey Boston. A
Right,
former player, he's got tons of money. He don't have to spend time on any of the fans. He could just tell the fans to f off, But
right.
he don't do that. Instead, he comes to games. He chops it up with us online. He talks to fans, all the time on Twitter. He started
Hmm.
a new YouTube page. He's super excited about this Panthers team. He's got great advice as far as I'm concerned of where their headspace should be, because I think that's the most important thing for this young team. They got to get their minds wrapped around winning this game and how much it matters to the team and moving forward. That's what we really need, is them to get their head in the game. And last week versus the Saints, was their head in the game? No. Our offensive line got next to no push. Next to no push. We have got to move the football down the field, and impose our wheel on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We've got to run them over. We got to make them afraid and scared of the logo when it comes to their house in Week 18. We're taking this division, and we're going to take it by force. I want to run the ball.
That's a fact. That's a fact. And we should run the ball. We should. The Panthers have got a couple good running backs. I heard. Um, we've got some good run blocking offensive linemen. Let's punch them in the mouth. Punch them in the mouth. And if somebody says, "Hey, you can't do that," reach back and punch them again. We need to be a little bit violent. This is where the marbles. Let's go out there and let's punch Tampa square in the mouth. You know, um, they got a helmet on. Fine, kick him in the nuts. Let's go get a little bit mean out there. Let's get a little bit mean.
Don't Mo rig them.
Uh,
You said Mo rig them. Hey, and whatever it takes, whatever we got to do to win the
boys,
division,
just don't
man.
get caught. How's that? Just
Don't
don't
get
get
caught.
caught.
Don't get caught. I like Earl's comment. He said, "I think Dave plays down to the sorry teams," and it sure does feel that way when
Yeah,
we're losing games that we think we should
yep,
win. I agree with you, Earl.
yep. I still think a lot of that's his experience in Dave himself. Dave has a tendency to play down to the sorry teams. I think because he kind of tries to maybe take chances, and then it's when he realizes, okay, I can't do this here, it's done too late. You know, some things I think they've been a little lax on that I was upset with earlier this week. They were talking about, we're looking into a short yardage situation instead of a quarterback sneak. Um, that's their opinion if they want to use Bryce in the quarterback sneak or not. But like I said the other day, it's been what, 32 games. No, you got to catch up with that, Dave. You gotta get your stick on right. Next year is the third season. That's when Dan Morgan projected that we would be ready for a playoff push. A lot of people, Dave Canales, a lot of people said we should be ready next year for the playoff push. We're a little early this year, so either way, I think Panther fans should be proud of their team, and they should be to the understanding that we're moving in the right direction. Don't mean that you think, okay, well, we could have done better. We could have made the playoffs this year if we'd have done that. Well, you can feel that way if you like. You can go ahead. It's your right to feel that way. But just understand that hey, we are getting better. We definitely are getting better.
Hey, at 7-7, I promise you, every player in that locker room is going to tell you, "Yeah, I left plays on the field. Yeah, I made mistakes. There was things I could do better." And I promise you, everyone on the coaching staff feels the same way. There's things that we could have done better. There's things we could have improved on. And they talk about it after losses. They admit it. They know that. I mean, we're all on the same page. The fans, the coaching staff, the players. We're 7-7. We should be 14-0, right? We can do better
Right.
than 7-7. And it's like you said, this rebuild is coming home early. We're ahead of the ball game. They were shooting for 2026, but hey, guess what? On Sunday, we got a chance to win this thing. We haven't had a chance in a long time. That's what I was talking about earlier today. You have to look all the way back to Ron Rivera and Steve Wilkes to find two coaches that led the Carolina Panthers as far as Dave Canales has led us in 2025.
Hmm.
And absolutely, we can point out every mistake he makes. And as podcasters, Carolina Panthers podcasters and fans, that's our right, and that's something we should do. And that's why I encourage you to do that Monday night on that show, Pickle, because fans were super salty and sour about the loss. They weren't happy about losing to a bad Saints team, and the way this team come out and moved and ran the ball, and the offensive line got no push, and we couldn't get explosive plays when we needed it. We couldn't get turnovers when we needed it. We couldn't get stops when we needed it. We couldn't get off the field on third down. Man, we couldn't get off the field on fourth down. But
Right.
we're all on the same page. We know what this Carolina Panthers team is capable of. We remember what Rico Dowdle did to the Dallas Cowboys, something a franchise record, breaking Christian McCaffrey's scrimmage yard record. Bet you didn't have that one on your bingo card. We remember what this team did through the Jets week and the week before, where we held, I think it was a Dolphins. We held those two teams to only 50 yards rushing within 2 weeks, another franchise record. And for all the complaints that I read about Ivero today, he still did that. He still
Right.
held the opposing team to only 50 yards for 2 weeks of NFL football. It's unheard of, and it was a Carolina Panthers record. And I've got plenty of complaints about Ivero too, but I'm thankful he was able to do that with this team this season. Did
Right.
I think this roster is that good? No. Do I think our roster is better than Atlanta Falcons in 2025? No, I don't. But you know what we did? We swept. We swept them and we shut them out on top of it at home.
That's a
Even
fact.
sweeter, just to go back and say, well, guess what? Our roster ain't even good as y'all's, but our team played better because at least they were motivated. At least our team, at least our coaching staff can get our team motivated, even though we may make some mistakes down the stretch. And the one other thing is beating Green Bay at home. I don't even know when the Carolina Panthers have done that before, or how long it's been since we beat Green Bay in Lambeau. What an accomplishment! And then to beat the best team in the NFC, the Rams on top of it. We've got accomplishments. We've got lots to be proud of. Even if we come up short on Sunday, we've got a lot to be proud of.
Right.
But I'm telling you right now, we've got a chance to win this thing, and it's not a little chance. It's a strong chance. We got a real strong chance to win this thing, Pickle. Their running game is suffering, just like ours did last week. We only ran for 3.1 yards a carry, where the Bucs didn't do any better. They were around the same, 3.1, 3.2. If they come in with an anemic rushing attack like that against us, even with their wide receivers healthy, they're going to put these defenders playing the zone defense for Avero in a situation where they can get turnovers. We've seen Mike Jack do it, getting 2 turnovers in a game. We've seen it where J.C. Horn has had 2 interceptions in 2 games this year. We're dangerous on the outside, and if the Bucs get too
Absolutely.
confident slinging the ball on this defense, we're going to make them pay. And I feel strongly about that. And we're finally going to get the NFC South in the correct pecking order.
Absolutely. Absolutely. One thing I want to bring up real quick, they did the coaches interview today, and I haven't really listened to a lot of them, but today, but I did spike a little bit of info on Twitter. A shout out to Jerry Rivera, who said this year with this group has been the funnest that he's ever had uh, in coaching, and he really enjoyed working with the guys this year. He's up for contract. His contract is up in February, the second, I believe. So, we'll just have to wait and see how Dan and Dave handle these situations. But each person has their own opinions on it. But either way, Gerald's had some good stuff this year, some stuff that I can say that I was proud of. But he's also had some hairy stuff, some shaky stuff that I wasn't proud of. So, I'm probably never going to be completely happy with every single coach we ever hire, but hey, you know, such as that in the NFL. So
Well, one of the things that I had said early in the season before things really got started is I would be really impressed if this Carolina Panthers team is in it can breach the top 25
right,
of defenses in the NFL. And in a lot of stats we've slipped back down into the 30s. You know,
right,
we were top 10 for a few weeks there when we were really rolling on defense, but we're still forcing turnovers. It's not that bad. I think we forced 2 turnovers in the last 4 out of 6 games or something like that. You know, we didn't get any last week, but nothing really went like right last week anyway. So I'm not surprised. But it's like I don't know, Pickle. Maybe maybe we win this division and they keep Avero, and then I'm on board. I, that that would make sense to me. Maybe we beat the Bucs at home and we almost beat them at home and we just missed winning the division possibly. Maybe we give the Seahawks a good run for their money before this is all over and the defense looks good and they want to keep Avero. I'm fine with that. I can live with some of it. But
right,
I can't live with us getting smashed at home Sunday and then us keeping Avero because the numbers aren't there. And look, I get it. The
right.
roster's not there either. Okay, the roster's not. It's not that
Hmm.
talented. And it felt that way versus the Saints, especially at the end of that game. The end of that game when we needed stops and we couldn't get them, I was just sitting there thinking, we really need some more players on defense. We need some better
Yeah,
caliber players on
Right,
that's
right,
true.
defense.
right, right. Exactly. And while I can, I'm all right with our linebacker core because this is what we got. There was by far better choices we could have made to fix up this linebacker core. I'm definitely not thinking any of this linebacker core is Pro Bowl worthy, so to speak. Um, but we'll get better, I think, with in a year or two. Um, but like you said, these in reality, we don't make the playoffs. There's no reason to extend Evero, really. If we make the playoffs, I can understand that if they do. Uh, Still may not like it, but I can understand if they do. Um,
I don't feel like we're so firmly entrenched in the 3-4 to where our
right,
players are so 3-4 players that we can't switch. Like I don't think it
right,
would really hurt us that bad to switch. Is what I'm getting at.
r-
We can go back to a 4-3 right now. And I think the players that we got, especially like a guy like Nick Scorton, would probably benefit a lot from something like that.
absolutely.
DJ Wanham would benefit a lot from that. I mean, I'm kind of tired of watching DJ Wanham drop back in coverage and get burnt. It's brutal. I
Right,
understand
right.
what he's doing. He's sending pressure from different places and putting coverage in different places, and it's probably very confusing to the offensive line. I'm sure it disrupts the offense, and I see what Avera is trying to do, but those people that we have in coverage are trying to guard wide receivers, and they're just not capable of it. And we see it week after week where the middle of the field gets wide open, like there's nobody there because our safeties and our corners are all kind of dropping back and letting the play develop in front of
Hmm.
them, and they can't react quick enough to get to that middle yardage part of the field, 5-7 yards around there where the linebackers could or should be, and it's just oh man, we keep seeing the same thing happen over and over. I
Right.
I can't come up with a good enough case to re-sign him, and there was I didn't see many people last year that had a good case to re-sign him. Cole, how do you feel about Avero?
Um, I didn't think I would feel as good about him at this point of the season at the beginning of the year. I will say that he has had some good moments. Honestly, and I really didn't think I would say this at all either. I think he still has a lot left to go with like these 3 games, whether it's going to be stay or go with him if they respond and make the playoffs and the defense is playing good. That's going to be really hard for me to fight against re-signing him, even if it's not long term. It's still a lot to play for with him. He's had moments where we were terrible, and I question the things we do, and I think you can see some of the players do as well. But we have played good defense at times against this year against the some really good offenses in the NFL, especially teams that can run the football. And we've changed our whole brand and play with the more physicality on both sides of the ball, especially up front. So it's just different. If you keep adding to the defense, you wonder if he's going to be a better coordinator or not. So I don't know yet, Deeze, honestly.
I know it's a tough call. It's just that there's it seems like there's more reason to move on than there is more reason
Yeah,
to
it
retain
is.
it at this point, considering what happened last year. That was an unmotivated defense that completely undermined the team altogether and everything that we were trying to build. And that's
Mhm.
why I was so surprised they kept them going into this year, which is why I worry about a lot of the people that are on the coaching staff. Are they being retained by Dan Morgan? Are they being retained by David Tepper? Does it have what does it have to do with, and who does it correlate to? Or is it just retaining that staff to give Dave Canales a springboard as a head coach? Like, oh, here's a solid base. Here's guys that's been in the NFL for a long time. Because to me, when they started that, when they brought Dave in, I thought they were going to clean house. Caldwell gone, Capers gone, Evero gone, all of them
Right.
gone. Let Dave choose all of his own guys because he's been in the NFL so long. He's got plenty of connections, plenty of guys he owes favors to, and put them on the staff and bring them in. And I kind of hope they do that in the offseason, but I hope they don't do that in a negative way. I hope if they're going to make changes to the staff, let's make changes to the staff because we know where we need to improve because we made the playoffs and lost or whatever it may be. That's just the scenario I'm hoping for. And it's not the, okay, well, we're going to replace your staff because you did poorly type thing. It needs to be because that's what Dave wants to do moving forward as the leader of this team and let him grow and develop and be
Right.
that head coach that you expect him to be, Pickle.
Absolutely. One thing I want to bring up is the message here by Earl is Bobby Brown needs to stay at nose. I do agree to that when we're playing in a 3-4, but I want to specify some of the issues. We don't play in a lot of the actual 3-4 alignment. We use more of a 4-2-5 defense this year or nickel. When you do that, you're using uh, Wharton as your kind of blitzing tackle, offense or defensive tackle rather, and then you're using Ashawn and Derek Brown because those are your best. Those three are considered your best offensive tackles. Ashawn's got three, 2 or 3 sacks this year, as well as Derek Brown. So, excuse me. But I think what it is Bobby showed you that hey, I can do that too if you give me opportunity. Uh, I think if when we line up so much in that 4-2-5, the problem is we actually have a bigger amount of depth at tackle than we should have for the defense we're running. So I think that's an underlying issue that we'll get into after the season because here at the Blue Black Attack we're going to start positional evaluations, and we're not going to do. I don't think we're going to do a defensive end and a tackle. We're going to do like front seven, back half defense style. Then offense, we're going to do the offensive line, the receiving units, including the tight ends and the wide receivers, stuff like that coming up is what we're going to do in the off season. We are no way, shape, or form a podcast that's going to sit down and relax in the off season.
Amen, Pickle.
And yeah, Bobby was in a lot of places yesterday or Sunday, and a lot of that is because he hasn't played much this year, and he was out to prove a point. I thought about this a lot the last few days. Bobby's in a situation that he's where Ashawn Robinson is. Ashawn Robinson came here. Everybody said he's a run stopper. He's not a pass rusher. He can't rush the passer. Don't even put him in that situation. Well, Ashawn heard that, and Ashawn didn't much appreciate that.
No, we didn't.
Ashawn thought, all right, I'm going to show you what I can do. And he did. He became that pass rushing guy. Now he's a tackle. You're not going to get 5, 6 sacks a year, but to a defensive tackle, if you give me 3 or 4 sacks a year, hey man, that's great. And what we do good here is we collapse the pocket, the inside of the pocket. So we lack a little bit of pass rush on the outside. This is where I was disappointed with DJ Wanham. I really thought that he would bring more of an outside rush. Um, I am one player that I'm looking forward next year to see because I think we're going to see a lot more out of him because he'll grow mentally. Is a guy named Princely Yuma that started out from training camp in a few days when the offensive tackles didn't have pads on. He got a few quick blitzes, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm simply the badass," and you know everybody knows what he said. Yeah, and everybody was like, everybody loved it, but some of us was reserved and were like, wait till the pads come on, then tell me all about it. He's learning. He's learning this year. He's learning that I can't just be all speed. I've got to throw some power in there, and it's developing issues. Scorton looks good, but a lot of these guys, these rookies, I think they've hit a wall. I do believe that they've hit a wall. As you see, they're slowing down a little bit. They're a little bit tired. That's what they call the rookie wall. This time of year in college, they're settling and relaxing because their season's over. Not in the NFL, boys. Got a few more weeks to go.
And in really important weeks too. And
Yep,
we need Scorton big time this upcoming Sunday.
absolutely.
I really thought he had a sack and a half watching that game last week.
Right,
Or Sunday. I really thought he had a sack and a half. But then when we looked at the stats, it wasn't the case, and it
right,
was kind of disappointing to me because he was extremely disruptive, putting pressure on Tyler back there, and he was right there when Tyler went down. So I don't know why he didn't get his half sacks. He should have,
right.
in my opinion. I guess the league owes him an apology too. If you were to ask me, like they did
Yep,
T Mac, they definitely owe T
right,
Mac an apology. A
right,
garbage call in the game. It was so obvious. Don't know why they slow it down and then come up with a reason to say that we were out of bounds when we weren't. Come up with a reason to say that we didn't make the catch when we did. It really frustrates me to
right.
no end. But I'm super thankful that we did select T Mac at number 8 overall. Pickle. I mean, it just couldn't have been a better
Absolutely.
fit for what this team needed, for what Bryce needed. And we just got to get him back on fire, man. We got to get him back involved in the game. He's our ex. He's our guy that really leads this wide receiving core right now. We don't need to. I mean, I like it when we can get Coker uncorked out there on the outside like we did. The
Right.
crazy ball by Bryce, just the best ball I think I've ever seen Bryce throw. I just couldn't believe that pass to Coker. I mean, he put it in a basket that was 40 yards out or whatever it was. It was amazing. But we got to get T Mac involved. We got to get him going early. We got to get him active on the outside. Maybe we need to get him some screenplays. Maybe to get him some short drags over the middle. Something to get him rolling early, Pickle. And we haven't been doing that. So that way, when he gets a shot downfield on a deep post for a touchdown to give us the go ahead score, he makes that catch because he's in a rhythm. They talked about the same thing during the broadcast with Olave. Well, we need to do the same thing with T-Mac. We need to get him involved early, getting him some touches, getting him the football, letting him use his yak yards to get us down the field. He's not to be 6'5" Pickle. He's not bad running after the catch. I gotta be honest. Everybody told me, "Oh, he's slow. Oh, he can't do this. Oh, he can't do that." Well, I beg to differ. I've seen him do quite a good job of getting downfield, getting separation. Not only that, taking the ball and moving it on after the reception. And I
Hmm.
think that's pivotal to this game coming up Sunday. Let's get T-Mac going, and let's get him going early.
Hell yeah.
Man,
Future rookie defensive player of the year or offensive player of the year, and I think I think it'd be a really shame if he didn't get that. But clearly, there's nobody better. I don't. Uh, uh, well, the Panthers had opportunities, but right now they basically got the. If I understand it right, the Panthers have to either win straight out, they have to win all three games, or they have to hope the Bucs stumble. But even then, it's just better yet. They just need to win. If
Yeah.
they stumble in
Well,
Seattle, that's one thing,
mhm.
but they
Just
definitely have to win against the Bucs.
just beat them both times. Just
Right,
make it easy. Just show
right.
our dominance. Just win it
That's
straight
it.
out. Mm.
That's it.
There's nothing else to it.
Nope.
There's like some scenarios like we can win Sunday and then we can beat Seattle, which is
Right,
boy that's a tall order, Cole. But I
right,
don't know if it is as much as we've seen Sam Darnold chuck in the playoffs. He does it every year.
oh,
I
he's
mean,
just.
right,
We can just get on him. That's what
right,
I really want.
right,
More so than the playoff talk. I really think we owe Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield some beatings, and I really want to see it.
right.
well, we definitely do. But it's something like the Bucks lose to the Dolphins. and we beat them once and beat Seattle, and we're in. We're done. We don't have to worry about Week
So if
18
we win this week and then they lose next week, what does that mean? Is it ours
if we beat Seattle.
if we beat Seattle? Okay.
But they
That,
this week they're taking on the Dolphins, and
yeah,
who's going to
They got,
start
and you
who's
told me
going to
they got
start a
Quinn
whole
Ewers
new
starting, right?
quarterback. So if the Dolphins
Ewers.
somehow or another come out and win that, good for the Dolphins.
If A Chain has a great game, I think it
Right.
can happen.
And
And
we
it
have
will.
to beat Tampa, you know, it's kind of ours. But I don't think it. I mean, we still have to play good. We may still have to beat Tampa at the last week. I'm not exactly certain how that works out now.
not if they lose to the
No.
Dolphins. It just it just
Well,
depends.
yeah.
No need to get ahead of ourselves. We just got to beat them this week.
Absolutely.
We'll
We
do
were
lose
doing
this
that
week,
last
hang it
week.
up.
We need to.
We were doing that last week, and what did it get us?
We had a cakewalk to it last week. It felt like.
so we're not going to do that this week. So,
No, you focus on the damn game and
but
win.
yeah,
Yeah, we can't go back and
one at a
change it. We
time.
can't go back and make it a W. So we'll just have to go forward and make it a W this week.
Right. One thing I want to shout out our rookie, Fritz Perfect. I think that he's probably, to me, the best young kicker in the league.
Show me a better one. I can't do it. Not at his age.
Nope.
Winning games at the last second like he
Right.
has this year.
He doesn't get upset about anything. So
No.
I do
He's
like
very
that.
neutral. I love
A
it.
lot about him.
Even kill.
Yeah, it feels like he's better than a thicker kicker, even though the thicker kicker
Yes.
is still in the league and he's having a good year and all. But it does feel like
Right.
Fitz is better.
Yes.
I mean,
do.
things
I
worked
do. I
out. It
agree with
worked
that.
out good.
Right.
It worked out great.
He's got a 3-year contract. That's an undrafted contract. So it's going to
Beautiful.
work out really good for the Panthers for the next 3 years on that.
That's what I was saying about the rebuild. The rebuild's coming a little quicker than we thought, and I said I can probably make the argument that it's under budget too, and it's because of
Right.
players like that. There's a slew of them. I'm not going to
Exactly.
name them all. Damani Richardson, Shao Smith
Right.
Wade. Some people are out on Shao Smith Wade. He's got an interception, a pick six this year. I'm not out on him. Richardson's got a couple fumble recoveries. They've done good things. They haven't done great things, but considering the price tag, you can say they've kind of done great things.
Right.
Because we're talking about guys, not Shao Smith Wade, but some of the others are undrafted and making kind of a splash, or even late round draft picks in general. A lot of times they don't even make the team, but our guys are performing and not only performing, they're improving. So that's why I would say that the rebuild is not only ahead of schedule, it's under budget. We've got some
Absolutely.
things working out that we didn't necessarily would think would work out as well as they are. Now, if you want to go into stuff about like Turk and how that has been kind of a disappointment, that's fine. But Mo Rig, our biggest free agent prospect that we brought in this year, is at least a contender for the Pro Bowl. He may not make the Pro Bowl, but at least he's in the conversation for going to the Pro Bowl. I mean, that was a good get overall. Like I said earlier, we've made tons of mistakes. We can point them out, and that's perfectly fine. But we've done a lot of things right, too, that's got us to this point that we haven't been in since 2022, that we haven't been able to accomplish since 2015. And it's been a long time, Pickle. I'm hungry. I'm ready for this title.
Absolutely.
Me too, boys.
Y'all, we're gonna get off here directly, but I just want to make a special note. Our sympathies and prayers go to the family of NASCAR legend Greg Biffle and his family,
Very
who
sad.
tragically died in a plane crash today. I'm not a big fan of NASCAR, but I was a fan of Greg Biffle, the way he handled the hurricane situation, and sometimes heroes die.
Yep. Too soon sometimes.
Yes, his whole family did.
Yep. Wife and
All
2
4 of 'em.
kids. Pray for the family.
Yeah, right here in Statesville, close to home, too. So
Right.
Yep,
really,
that one hits
really
close.
sad thing. Yeah, just condolences to all of their
Right.
family and all of the fans, too. There's a lot of fans of Greg. So,
Right.
Condolences to all of them. I just want to remind everyone we'll be dropping another Blue&Black Beats video. It's just a music video. It's nothing special, just a music video about the Carolina Panthers. It'll be coming out Friday or Saturday. I'll have to look at it and see how it runs. But I hope you guys enjoyed those. And if you do enjoy that type of content from this podcast, drop it in the comments and let me know. Remember to like, subscribe, and share, and let all your friends know that we're here cheering for the Carolina Panthers here at the Blue and Black Attack.
Keep pounding,
Keep
boys.
pounding.